Hi Hatters, you are welcome once again to this platform. This is Tessie Hats, a vocation where we train you on how to be an entrepreneur making different headwears. Once again, our slogan is Art Making, Beauty at its Peak. Now, if you have not listened to the first session, I will implore you to go back to the first session, listen to it, and then come to the second session so that you will understand better. Now we are going to the revision aspect first. We are revising the first session before going fully into the second session. Now the revision. I said the study of entrepreneurship is for us to understand the nature of entrepreneurship and its application to small business management. That is the scope of this course. I also said the leading function is the act or process of influencing or guiding people so they will strive willingly towards the achievement of group or corporate objectives. I also said that entrepreneurship is a vast field in business education. Entrepreneurship is a vast field in business education. Don't forget that we said the entrepreneur is one that doesn't have business. He or she arranges business deals, takes risk in order to make a profit. I also said that the primary motive behind any venture is to make profit. And I said the nature of entrepreneurship is such that have integrity, innovation, patience, communication skill, motivation as its characteristics. I'll repeat that. I said the nature of entrepreneurship is such that have integrity, innovation, patience, communication skills, and motivation as its characteristics. I said the study of entrepreneurship is to understand the nature of entrepreneurship and its application to small business management. I told you that we have 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, and that the entrepreneur is the one that coordinates all the 3 factors of production. That is, the entrepreneur is the one that coordinates the land, labor, and the capital. Now I define entrepreneurship as the capacity and willingness to develop, organize, and manage a business venture along with any of its risks in order to make profits. I mentioned 5 basic functions of the entrepreneur. One is the planning function. Second is the organizing function. One is the planning function. Second is the organizing function. The third one is the staffing function. And of course, we have the leading function. And lastly, the controlling function. I said whether big or small, every business organization should have an organizational structure. I also said that the act or process of influencing people so they will willingly strive towards the achievement of group or corporate objective is the leading function. The leading function is the act or process of influencing or guiding people so they will willingly strive towards the achievement of group or corporate objectives. I said nearly all successful entrepreneurs behave alike. They take calculated risk, and I explained what calculated risk is. Then I go to that of part of the skills of an entrepreneur is the ability to see a good opportunity when others do not see it. I explained that. I said one of the skills of an entrepreneur is the ability for the entrepreneur to see a good opportunity when others do not see it. And not just to see, but to seize that opportunity. Now, I said poorly managed experience could result to the failure of a business established by an entrepreneur when the business lacked the right managerial skill to manage people in the enterprise. If the business lacks good managerial skill, it can lead to failure of a business. Also, a successful entrepreneur is one that will continue to develop new products. Any business all over the world is woven around the customer. These 2 points are very important. Any business around the world is woven around the customer. Customer is key. And I said a business, a successful entrepreneur is one that will continue to develop new products that will appeal to customers. I also told you that when 2 organizations are compared, the difference in performance can be traced to the effectiveness of the management. I told you that the controlling function involves the measurement and correction of the performance of the business activity. Motivating and managing people rightly results to increase in productivity. If you motivate and manage people rightly, it will result to increase in productivity. I told you that the act or process of influencing or guiding people so they will strive willingly, I think I've dealt about that, towards the achievement of group or corporate objective is the leading function. I also told you that in controlling function, there must be laid out plans against which performance can be measured. That was why I told you that at the beginning of a session, a week, a month, or a year, whatever period we are using to measure, a set out plan is given, like a budget, a plan, a rolled out plan, which will be used to compare the actual we are getting at the end of the period. That is the controlling function. I told you that when 2 organizations are compared, I've explained that the difference in performance can be traced to the effectiveness of the management. Now we are finished with our revision on the first session. We now move to the business of the day. Today's topic, we want to talk about critical success factors in entrepreneurship. Critical success factors in entrepreneurship. The factors of production in economic theory, which are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. The entrepreneur brings the other factors of production together, as discussed before. Now, the success or failure of a business depends on the entrepreneur. It is the entrepreneur that determines the success or the failure of that business. Then there is the need to understand the factors that are critical for success in entrepreneurship. But before we examine those success factors, it will be very, very important for us to know what could cause a business failure, so that the would-be entrepreneur will first understand the pitfalls that await him or her in the business world. So I will be talking about the causes of business failure. What could lead to business failure? After the entrepreneur had set up his business and have put so many things in place, what could also lead to business failure? These are pitfalls. I will say number 1, unbalanced experience in a line of business. Unbalanced experience in a line of business. This is one of the major causes of business failure. Every line of business has its own unique features and they need to be studied and understood. Take for example, those that breed birds. I like using examples that are very common in our environment. When you see someone that is breeding birds, or probably somebody that is a vet doctor, you see that they will put birds in cage, they give feeds to the bird, they give water, the birds grow, and then they sell. And then somebody that is not trained in that part will say, is it not for me to just put birds in cage, give them food, give them water, pack their waste, and then sell? If such person should embark on such project and fail, what is the cost? It is unbalanced experience in that line of business. Because for a professional in that line, a professional in breeding of birds, we watch the bird pool. We watch how active the birds are. There is this daily watch that a professional will watch the birds, and we understand what is happening to the bird, the color of their pool. Those ones are not known to an amateur. So unbalanced experience in the line of business could lead to a failure in business. Whatever line of business you are taking, you really need to go into the study to know the nitty-gritty of the business. I go to point number 2, poor managerial experience. In the early part of this lecture, we have dealt with managerial experience, and this is one of the causes of business failure under this topic. When two organizations are compared, their difference in performance can be traced to the effectiveness of the management. Good and effective managers make a lot of difference in an organization. An organization with a good crop of managers will obviously show superior performance than one with poor managers. Also take note that entrepreneurs too may have poor managerial experience. Entrepreneurs too may have poor managerial experience when they lack the managerial skill to manage people in the enterprise. Now, poorly managed and motivated set of people result to decline in productivity, which may afterward result to business failure if not arrested. What are we talking about here? Aside you gathering people that are not experienced, those that are not qualified for a particular venture that could lead to a failure in business, an entrepreneur too can end up managing its staff poorly. Poorly managed set of staff members could lead to decline in productivity. Now, we want to go to the third point, which is lack of information about the customers. Any business all over the world is woven around the customer. Successful businesses direct their energies towards customers' satisfaction. And as it is said, customer is king. It therefore follows that any business that does not have sufficient information about the customer is likely to fail. To avoid such failure, market research must be done repeatedly. What are we talking about here? Is that if you lack sufficient information about your customers and you dabble into a business, it could lead to a great failure. For instance, those that sell clothing materials. If you want to really have good success in what you are planning to venture into, you look at the location, you consider your customers. Who are your target customers? Who are those people that you want to sell to? Are you selling pig in the northern part? Are you selling laced material, net material in Islamic countries? No, those materials will not give you profit or will not bring success there, because in that part of the area of that world, you should understand that your customers are not likely to be much there. So lack of information about the customers. The customers you want, where are they located? What is their choice of product? How do they behave? Some customers, you find out that they want what others don't have. They want different products. They want new products to be given to them at every point in time. They don't want something that is common. You really need to get information about your customers. Now, lack of product, that leads us to lack of product development, which is point number 4. Customers are always asking for new products. with new and better features. Like banking and music production, for example. A successful entrepreneur is one that will continue to develop new products that will appeal to customers. An entrepreneur without product development initiative will find out that he or she has gone out of business. That is, if you still stand on what you are producing, you are not bringing out new idea. I told you at the beginning of this program of this lecture that you have to be innovative. Sit down and think of how you can do things differently. Sit down and bring out new ideas. Sit down and think about how you can break what is going on before and bring out new things. Look at technology, for instance. If you still use what is used in the past, nobody will follow you. So if you are not ready to bring out new products, what you have will be archaic and nobody will want to buy from you, which means it will lead to business failure. So we go now that we know the pitfalls, and if we can avoid that, then we want to look at what could lead to success factors, to success in a business venture. Critical success factors in entrepreneurship. If we look at many successful enterprises today, we can observe that there must be some things, some inner driving forces that make success possible. Nearly all successful entrepreneurs behave alike. They take calculated risks. They understand the strategic direction, at the same time they remain focused. So those factors that lead to success are going to be dealt with one after the other now. Number one is the existence of a good business opportunity. Existence of a good business opportunity. Now, part of the skill of the entrepreneur is the ability to see a good business opportunity when others do not see it. One of the skill is for you that when you are in an area, you see the opportunity that is there. Like in an area you may be in a church, and you see people not having, and you see nobody's selling hats materials, nobody's selling hats. People go very far to get what they need to cover their head, and you have somebody you can learn from, or you already have the skill. It's a business opportunity. Others are not seeing it. I made so many examples in the class. I said in an area, a rural area, an urban area. It's not a rural, it's an urban area. I lived in that area, and most of the things they sell there are food stocks. So I was trying to venture into a business, and somebody said, let's go into the selling of food stocks, because it seems that is what others are doing. And then I said, no, I don't want to do what others are doing. Rather, I would prefer to do what is not here in this area. And so I went into the sales of clothing. And what did I do? Knowing fully well that people may not quickly come into that, I was also taking it to another place. It became a mobile shop. I have a location, and I also take it around. Then, even in that location, because I don't want people to still be looking at it as a place where you don't get to, you can put, I put a kind of refrigerator there, selling some drinks so that people can come close and check what is being sold there. The display, the setup of the shop was okay, and serious sales. Those that don't want to go far to go and get those things. So what am I trying to bring out here is that you see the opportunity when others don't see it. Our people are fond of saying that what is selling in this area is food stocks. Let us go into that same thing. Then you continue to sell, and competition is there. Competition is not even a problem if you are creative, if you have your own, if you are innovative. But then is it supposed to be done the same way over and over again. So, seeing a good business opportunity when others do not see it is very, very important. It is one of the success factors in entrepreneurship. I go to the second success factor, technical competence. Technical competence ordinarily refers to the ability of the entrepreneur to understand the business in question and also possess the relevant knowledge and skills to engage in the business and to take it to the next level. I will want to repeat that. The technical competence is the ability of the entrepreneur to understand the business in question. Do you understand the business you want to venture into? I talked about the factors that leads to failure, unbalanced experience. So if you don't have a balanced experience, if you don't have all the knowledge required in that venture, it will be better you don't go to it. You don't take it up. So technical competence is the ability to understand the business in question and also possess the relevant knowledge and skills to engage in the business and to take it to the next level. I go to number 3, high mental ability. Mental ability refers to the capacity to understand. It enables the entrepreneur to think and develop strategies that will lead to success in a highly competitive environment. Now, the ability to think enlarges the entrepreneur's vision and assists to generate ideas on how to see the competition from a large view. What we are saying here is that with high mental ability, you'll be able to think ahead. You'll be able to develop strategies in achieving your goals. You'll be able to think in advance that yes, you need to bring up new ideas. You need to work ahead of others so that you will be at the top. You'll be leading others. Even if if you have competitors that are coming into that same market, you would have gone far, bringing up new ideas, not waiting for them or staying on one point for them to overtake you. Now, high mental ability enables the entrepreneur to anticipate the moves of competitors in advance and then take necessary steps to protect his or her business from invasion by competitors. I go to point number 4, human relation skills. Now, possession of good human relation skill is another critical factor deliberately chosen because it stands on its own as an aspect of management competence. Mark that word. It stands on its own as an aspect of management competence. We said the entrepreneur is the one that organizes the remaining 3 factors of production in economic theory. We know that land and capital are non-human factors. They are non-human factors. But labor is a human factor of production. Now, it is the ability to manage the human factor of production that leads to excellent business performance. What are we talking about here? The leading function. We are also talking about motivation. That is the ability to manage the human factor of production. Do you motivate your staff? Do you lead them well? Now, possession of good human relation skills ensures that the entrepreneur gets along well with the employees, with business associates, with customers, with supplier, with government. Here we are talking about communication skill too. How do you communicate to all those people? How do you make them to buy into your business or the way you are running your business? Employees, if you lead them well, if you motivate them, they will give you maximum cooperation. Business associates, do you relate with them for you to get 1 or 2 information on how to carry on your business, or you want to stand alone? Customers, how do you do with your customers? There are some customers that even when your price is going high, because of the way you relate with them, they will not leave you. Suppliers, how do you communicate them? How do you relate with them to make them release their goods to you, either on credit, discounts, and so on? Then government, when you are talking about taxes, how do you relate with them? Do you hold taxes? Do you pay your taxes? These are very important points to the success of your business venture. Now, I quickly want to do revision on this second part before. Okay, I will stop here and I will do revision on the second part in the third session. In that third session, we'll be going to art making proper. We will start with the theoretical aspect of art making. This is entrepreneurship session, what you need to know as an entrepreneur. Then we go to art making. In that session, we'll be dealing with different types of art, what you should know about the different arts. I want to give you an example of the art materials we have. I want to tell you how quality they are, what you can make out of them. We want to talk about art. We want to talk about fascinators too. Different types of fascinators. We want to talk about different things that has to do with headwear directly now. Thank you for joining this session. This is Mrs. Akinpelu once again. I'll continue with you in the third session. Thank you.